Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for a little Hometown Heroes presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. But first up, well, your first of 3 here. We've got 2 sprint cars taking the track, and then we've got the midgets coming up here at the end. But we've got the 305s out here, and this is, of course, sponsored by A&J Custom Creations. Huge shout out to the boys over there at A&J Custom Creations. Been a supplier of many of the trophies here in this league. Andy does a wonderful job over there. If you're starting up a league, you're looking at maybe some trophies for your league, A&J, man. He is the man. Hit those guys up on Facebook, or just reach out, contact one of the broadcasters here. We'll put you in touch with him. Right now, Randy Shreve's at the top of the charts here with a 12:89. Let's bring up the best times here. Mr. Wednesday Night, only that 100th of a second off with a 12.90 in the 055's. Got some speed here. Joseph Grandy rounds out the top 3. 10 cars here this evening, actually possibly 11 as I see the high side banger. Patrick Spangler gets his name on the registry. Didn't have a lap put in, but he did sign up for the room in time, so hopefully the high side banger can get out here and race with us tonight in the A&J Custom Creations 305 sprint cars. Let's see here where we're at. And I, of course, got it a little late here. I wanted to watch Dino rolling out of the pits. But we'll have to watch him roll down the backstretch here instead, because Dino's going to get ready to go play here. Can he do in that 79? Lots of dust for the moment. We should see that settle down a little bit once the lights kick on. Kind of changes the iRacing dynamic a little bit with the dust. Lap number 1, he's at a 13.40, was at the top of the charts till this man came across. The Desert Demon Terry Landis holding on to that top spot, ripping the outside through 3 and 4. Can the Desert Demon pick up time? No, it doesn't look like it there. Gonna stay P3. Dino picked up some time, but the new dog on the porch, the Brewerton Beast in the 5:13, Jeff Barker, quick time with a 13:31. Blake Chapman comes around. His lap number 1, 13:36. Can Blake improve? What can the salesman do? Not gonna find it. Stays orange as the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Welcome to Weedsport. Who needs practice? Says the 39. Top of the charts, 13.21. The only thing Patrick needs on there is a ShaggyTV sticker. He knows that as Devo rolls off a turn 4, crosses the line. Purple sector 2. Donovan Ross climbs to the front row here. P2, good lap for the 05. Devo gonna be happy with that one. Pretty good lap there for Devo after that first lap. I believe he was in 10th, so he must have had some hiccup there, lap number 1 somewhere, maybe threw the lap away. In 3 and 4, wanted to have a lot of speed there for his second go-around. Who knows? We'll take a look here. Starting grid, heat race number 1. Starting on the outside of row number 3 in the 75. The mayor, Steve Bixler to the inside the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Row 2 to the outside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler to the inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Parker. Row 1 to the outside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman, and starting on the pole, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. And the name of the game, I believe in, this is no shot here at Grandy anybody. It's kind of been trying to play the invert, I think, in these 305s. And, it's tough to do. I don't think they're out there necessarily slowing down qualifying times. But you don't want to go out there and, give it your all necessarily. So you got to keep a little on the table. And Grandy hitting the nail on the head here. He's got to take advantage of starting on the inside of row number 1. Winner of heat race number 1 will start on the pole for the feature. Well, actually, we should just have 2 heat races, so this will determine what row you're starting in, what position, and you're starting on the inside no matter what. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. We've got 6 laps to play in the clay at the Weedsport Speedway as your green flag waves. Heat race number 1 underway. Grandy with a rough start there on the inside. Can't get wound up in the high side banger. Trying to drive around the top of Grandy with a slide job. Jumps the cushion. Patrick to the inside. New leader as we close lap number 1. Barker trying to work there under Steve Bixler's. Bixler has a little bit of a hiccup. Might lose that spot to the Brewerton Beast, but battle on for third still. Jeff Barker, the thorn in the mayor's side, but the mayor ripping another gear up there out at 2. He's got wide open spaces, but he jumps the cushion. He's able to take that momentum, though. And he holds off here. 3 laps to go. We're halfway. The high side banger, Patrick Spangler, all alone as he rolls through 3 and 4. Patrick drives it into the inside. He's feeling confident. He likes the race car right now because Joseph Grandy You know, arguably one of the most talented drivers we're going to see here in the 305s tonight. He cannot reel him in. If anything, he's watching him slip away as the white flag waves. Patrick Spangler heads into turn 3 for the final time. He sees the checkered flag wave and he brings it home. He's going to start on the pole. He wins heat race number 1. Grandy, Bixler, Moore, Barker, and Blake Chapman doing his weekly start from the back challenge. Here you saw never took the grid. Heat race number 2. Let's take a look here at the starting lineup. Rounding out the field inside of row 3, that's 789 of Cale Bixler. Row 2 to the top shelf, the 05 of Devo Donovan Ross. To the inside, the 79 of Dino Dean Reynolds. Row 1 for heat race number 2. Winner will start on the outside of the front row for tonight's feature. The 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, to the high side. And starting on the pole, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Can Terry Landis pull one out of the Spangler playbook here? You saw Grandy maybe preferred line on the start there. Would have had it through 3 and 4, but jumped that cushion, and Patrick cut right underneath. Terry's got to try to mirror that, see if he can set Randy up for something similar. Difference may be, though, that 79 inside of row 3. He is going to be aggressive. He is your point leader. He knows, you know, his office is right up there in pit road, or at the top of pit road. He knows if you want the best shot to win this thing, it really matters here more than most. Starting position, starting position, starting position. So Terry Landis going to have to not only fight off the 56, the 79, and that guy who found a lot of speed out of nowhere on the second qualifying lap, Donovan Ross. And Cale Bixler, he's going to be right there to sniff any mistakes. That 789 will make you pay. Is the green flag's high? It's ready to fly. We've got 6 laps to play at Weedsport Speedway. Heat race number 2 is underway. Good jump there for Randy Shreves, who tries to get up and close that door, but he couldn't. The Desert Demon right there trying to pounce, and this is where you got to go underneath. Couldn't do it like the high side banger. Going to hold on to P2 for now. But Cale Bixler, he's back there trying to get by Dino. Can he put the points leader in last place here? Heat race number 2, not where Dino wants to be, holds on. Devo with a slide job gets into Terry. He's going to lose that spot. Going to lose a couple as he didn't want to pass Terry like that. Does the right thing, lets him on by, but now he falls to the back of the pack. And Dino maybe got Christmas a little early here as Randy Shreves all alone out front. But a P2 here for Dino. It looks a lot better than what it was looking like a couple laps ago as Donovan Ross trying to reel back in the 161 here, do it the right way, but we're running out of time because Randy Shreves is taking the white flag. We've got 1 lap to go. Randy has seen that gap shrink a little bit, but maybe experimenting out front in that 56. Huge lead. Not a lot of time. Checkered flag waves. Randy Shreves wins heat race number 2, followed by Dino, Bixler, Landis, and Devo. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprint Car feature. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Mr. Wednesday night at the top of the speed charts. Out of your 9 drivers who have put in a lap time here this evening. 25 laps to try to bring home the checkered flag. It is going to be a good one. Let's wipe this all away. Get ready for the starting lineup to show up as you see checkered flag waves. And we'll see who's going to bring it home here to kick off our first of 3 races here at the Weedsport Speedway. Let's take a look at that starting feature lineup. Rounding out the field, P11, the salesman Blake Chapman. Row 5 to the outside, the 05 of Devo Donovan Ross. To the inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row 4 to the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon Terry Landis. To the inside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Row 3 to the outside, the 789 of Cale Bixler. To the inside, his papa, the mayor in the 75, Steve Bixler. Row 2 to the outside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. To the inside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Row 1 for your 305 sprint car feature, brought to you by A&J Custom Creations. On the outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. And starting on the pole, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Patrick Spangler last week out there ripping, absolutely ripping up at Lernerville. He knows it's a little bit of a joke, older style car, but man, Patrick, I can't imagine how much fun that must have been to go out there and, you know, play around at Lernerville. Hey, my FA wouldn't even be able to fit in that seat, I guarantee it. It had to have been a pretty big sprint car. I always had fun climbing through my window of even my 6-cylinder car, man. Because I take all the windows, all the guts out. The inside metal will always be ripping my driver's suit on my butt cheeks, sliding in and out. Boy, oh boy, not fun. As we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We've got 25 laps to play at the Weedsport Speedway. Your feature is underway. Good jump there for the 56 of Randy Shreves, trying to make that outside work. The high side banger trying to grip up down low. Hold on there through 3 and 4. What can he do? He's got it in the line. But the bull range is on here. Randy Shreves trying to gather up some momentum. Round up the cows here, but just can't do it. Right now it's such a long way around that you want to be on that inside, I think, as Patrick Spangler comes across the line. Blake Chapman trying to work his way up through the field as that 20 machine, and boy, oh boy, that camera's loud. Gonna have to try to stay away from that one a little bit here till I can turn it down. But Blake, man, doing a good job right now of ripping that outside, basically going wherever he has to. I mean, he does it all the time. The kid will plant that car wherever he needs to go to try to work his way on up. And we got a battle for the lead here. Patrick Spangler getting caught sleeping on the inside. He had a little hiccup there in that 39 as Randy Shreves to the top shelf here. What can he do? 56. Oh, who had it at the line? Was it the 39 or the 56? Going to be a close call here. Not too sure, but I do know yellow flags for the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. See what happened here. Not too sure. He probably had an emergency, needed to get, or maybe, hopefully not an emergency. Something came up and needed to get off. That's all I could think of because, you know, he tries to hit that pit exit. It just hits the wall instead, brings out the caution. I definitely don't think the 518 meant to do that, that's for sure. Patrick Spangler, you can see it there. He had won the race to the line. That's very important. Patrick will get a lane choice here when we go and take the start. The high side banger going to choose the inside here as the field goes double file here at Weedsport. Roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Patrick drops the hammer. We're back underway at Weedsport. Dino trying to shoot to the inside here, get a run on the 56. And now he's got to play a little defense. Terry Landis coming to the outside. And Blake Chapman working that 20 there. He's up 5 spots now. As there's hard contact behind Jeff Barker involved. Steve Bixler over and over and over. Caution flag finally waves and the lights come on the ambulance. I think the mayor may need that ambulance. We are going to sit right up here because we're going to see what we can see happen. So Devo gets in the outside wall. Steve kind of follows him, goes up over the tail tank of the 5. Gets in the outside wall, gets a shot there from Jeff Barker. And you are going to just barrel roll and roll after roll. Here for Steve Bixler, let's see this gyro cam. It should stay flat. Whoa, look at him. Good thing the camera, I'm even still a little dizzy. I bet you the mayor is too. Wild ride. There for the 75 of Steve Bixler. Brings out the second caution of the evening. And, well, now, drivers maybe get a chance to rethink. Maybe a different strategy here. What can you do if you're Randy Shreves? You're throwing everything you can at that 39. Arguably was going to have the lead when the first caution came out, but untimely, and now he's just got to try to pull one out here, the bag of tricks. We're going to have 18 laps to go here when we get the green flag. There's only 8 cars left out there on the racetrack. No Devo, no Grandy, no Bixler at the moment as we roll through 3 and 4. The green flag waves. We're back ready to play. Good jump for the 39 of Spangler. He has got that thing humming, but the battle on behind. Cale Bixler looking to the inside, trying to flirt with getting in the top 4. Can't do it just now. And, well, now you see who's on the outside. Blake Chapman, the salesman. Here he comes to the dance. Blake Chapman, welcome to the top 5, up 6 spots here. And now the Desert Demon, he tries shopping down low here, but not enough grip, starts to slip. And Blake Chapman up to P4. Blake gets it at the line. He's going to have it, and he needs to find a way around the 2 guys in front of him because Patrick Spangler is all alone. You see the gap there through 3 and 4. Is Dino feeling the pressure here? He's trying to work to the outside of the 56. Great run through 1 and 2. And Blake Chapman through the tow rope on. He's getting pulled along to the outside. Blake Chapman, welcome to the top 3. Now Dino's just got to be smooth here. He knows what's probably coming here. You're going to get a couple shots at you from Blake Chapman. You know it's going to be clean. That's the way the kid drives. So you just got to focus on yourself. Out here, you can't let anything else bug you. As these guys are side by side, they both got to realize that this guy, without a caution, he is bringing home a checkered flag. Because he is just gone. He is 2 seconds up the road. is the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Dino drives it in, gets so close to that cushion on the outside, and you see Blake behind here. He's going to shoot to the inside for 3 and 4, try to find some moisture. Just can't get it to grip up here, and he's going to have to find another way around unless Dino gets in the wall and forfeits P2. Blake Chapman to the middle podium spot. Now Blake needs to cross the line, and he is open for a caution. He needs to reel in that 39 of Spangler. That's going to be his only help. Here, and Randy Shreves and Terry Landis battling pretty hard. That may be the answer to Blake Chapman's prayers here as Terry throws it in on the inside. And Randy hooks it up, but man, it was sketchy. Randy trying to get that right rear to grab. And went up there, almost slapped the outside wall, but Terry still working it. Trying to get that Jeter's 161 around the 56, but it's all for naught. It just seems like you need to roll that line where Randy's at every time Terry gets off of it to try to make the pass. He just watches the lead or the gap grow bigger here as the lead is starting to grow smaller. Blake Chapman has cut it down to 1.2 seconds. But I just don't think here with 3 laps to go, now at 1.4 seconds, as Patrick says, you know what, Shaggy? I got a little more left in the tank here if you want to lay it down like that. Extends it a little bit. Now coming out through 3 and 4. We're going to see 2 fingers in the air. 2 laps to go for the high side banger. As you see, we're pretty much single file around the Weedsport Speedway as Patrick throws it into 3 and 4. He's going to see that white flag. We've got 1 lap to go. Patrick Spangler, one heat race number 1, did the hard part. Started on the pole and just played some defense. Final time through 3 and 4. Patrick Spangler brings home another checkered flag in the A&J Custom Creations 305 Sprint Cars, followed by the salesman Blake Chapman, and Dean Reynolds rounds out the podium. Randy Shreves 4th. Terry Landis rounding out the top 5. Heck of a race these guys put on. Oh, Patrick, I'm not going to let that slide. He's been here enough, and he locked up the brakes. He slid sideways on the hill. Now he's stuck. He may need a little push here from his friend, salesman Blake Chapman. We'll see here. Is Blake going to go up here, give him a little love? Help him move a little bit. I don't know. Patrick, he's getting his own fireworks show. He's enjoying it. Congratulations to the 39 of Patrick Spangler. We're gonna take us back a little bit here. See if we can't get a word with our 3rd place finisher, the driver of the 79, Dean Reynolds. And Dino is there, so we're going to pull up the driver of the 79 and talk to him a little bit. Dino, man, it seemed like you had a, decent race car, but boy, man, it took a lot to try to get around that 56 of Randy Shreves. It seemed like you were having to give it your all to get around him.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Randy went to the middle there, and I think he saw Patrick do that, and I didn't know if that was still the best lane at the time. And you know what? I don't follow a lot what Patrick does because Patrick's better than you anyway. So I usually stay where I felt comfortable, and I felt comfortable up top. And you know me, chicks dig fat guys that want to go to the top anyway. So so I was just going to stay up there. So I was kind of surprised with that. And then for a while there, I said, oh God, am I going to hold off Blake for a little bit? And then I pluck it right in the wall. And I said to him, I go, Blake, I knew you were going to get me sooner or later, but I don't want to make it that easy for you. So, I hope he waved as he went by as I was trying to get my car off the wall. And but you know what? I felt good here at Weedsport. I'm surprised the outside was as strong as it was there for a while. And then once 3 and 4 went away, I went down to the bottom, and then I just said, "We'll bring her home third," and I'm okay with it. Now I just got to figure out how to do this victory lane shot with Patrick half hanging off the hill.
Yeah, no kidding. I caught that on the broadcast and had to embarrass him a little bit. He locked the brakes up and shot down the side of the hill. That was funny. I caught that on the side camera. I couldn't let that pass. But Dino, yeah, you kind of brought it up, and it did catch me by surprise a little bit, man. These 305s, were you shocked that the outside like hung around that long? Because I'm honestly shocked that it was there at all. I'm used to seeing people kind of slow these things down and want to run the inside.
Yeah, the outside, I don't know if it was because of the weather or what. And I'm glad they finally turned the lights on because I'm sure it looked great on the telecast for the heats. But
Yeah.
but the cushion looked like it was built up and it was darker color than normal. And you got the right rear in there and it hooked and it felt good. The only thing was, I don't know who the heck put that dip going into turn one on the outside. Matter of fact, when that first yellow came on, I got on and mic'd up to Randy. I go, "Randy, who put the dip in there?" And it kind of shocked us. And then, of course, right after that, he drives it in the wall, and I followed him. So I said to Randy, I mic'd up again, said, "Stop going into the wall," because I followed you in there too. So, but yeah, it was a surprise. And with the little bit taller gear they put in these 305s, you can actually keep her wound up on the top, and then when you want to run the bottom or the middle, you do have to feather it a little bit. And of course, that brings it right into Blake Chapman's wheelhouse. But I'm having fun with these 305s. Hopefully, we can get a few more people to come on out. We're showing that, whether it's Lernerville, I-55, or Weedsport, we're doing these features with 1 or 2 cautions. And, come on out and have some fun.
Yeah, and arguably, Dino, I want you to keep going on that, but, you really can't even say 2 cautions tonight because Grandy clearly had something come up, tried to drive into the pits, but hit the pit road wall. So that was your first caution right there. That shouldn't have happened. That's just a guy trying to get off the racetrack and bad stuff happened, man. You guys have literally, I mean, it's been impressive. The caution numbers this season have been so low, man.
Yeah, and even with the 360s, it's been low. But it's a good bunch of guys. It's guys that enjoy racing, want to race clean, just have some fun with each other, and you end the race with either a 0x or a 2x, so you get some bonus points and stuff. And we like, we're not looking for 40 cars or something, but we like to get to the 15, 16 cars and have good 2 full 8-car heats and a nice feature. And come on out and have some fun. It's going to be at Lernerville again next week. It's a rotating door, Lernerville, I-55, and Weedsport. And we saw how good I-55 was last week. That was a blast. So hopefully we get a couple more guys to come on out and have some fun.
Yeah, and I think you hit that nail right on the head. 16 guys, I think, 2 8-car features. Man, that's a good local show. That I'd love to get that number. That would be a sweet number to get. But congratulations, Dino, as we see you. Oh, man, that was a tough time to say bye. You just made your mistake in 1 and 2 and let Blake by. That's a tough one. But, Dino, man, it was a good run. I really did think you were going to hold him off there for a little bit, but you took it easy on him. We understand. He deserves it after starting in the back. Good run, man.
Yeah,
Who you want to thank?
Yeah.
Hey, we'll stick with that story. We'll stick with that.
Yeah, right. Freaking kid. Yeah, well, thank the guys for Full Throttle Motorsports. Patrick Spangler and Gavin Chatham for help me out, get a little speed in the sprint cars. And, Shaggy, thanks to you for doing the telecast. And, of course, we got to thank Andy Patton and AJ Customs Creations for the sponsorship. Wasn't for him, you wouldn't be doing this. And thanks to everyone for Coast to Coast. And, of course, we'll be remiss. Just a reminder of Super Dirt Modified Week, May 6th through 8th. We're up to 31 entries. And, we like to see 50 for that race. And, you've been seeing some of the cool paint schemes now the guys have been doing. And, we've been racking up some great sponsors and some great door prizes. And we got more to go.
Yeah, and I'm going to go accept my league invite here whenever I switch over to the next thing. You just brought that up. I keep forgetting to do that. Thanks for setting that up, Dino. Looking forward to it. And, man, hopefully we talk to you again here after the 360s. Good run.
We're going to give a heck.
It's Dean Reynolds bringing home P3. Now we're going to talk to the man who always makes it hard on himself this season. Going to be starting in the back. But, Blake, tonight, man, you just needed a caution there, maybe with 8 laps to go and you got into P2 because, I mean, clearly, maybe Patrick not driving his toughest, but, I mean, dude, you reeled him in a second there in those closing laps. Did we feel like we had a good car tonight if you, could contend for the win if you had the chance?
Yeah, I was definitely hoping for a caution there late. Obviously, getting with like two or three to go, probably not gonna be able to do much with it. But yeah, I felt like the car really was pretty good. After I got around Dean there, found a line one and two and three and four that were really working for us, and yeah, we were able to shed that gap down by about half. So yeah, I felt really really good in the car. After getting around Dean, and fortunately the track was just racy enough for us to make moves to get up to the front there, and had to be patient, that's for sure. Everyone fighting for that top side a little bit, just had to kind of stay in line, be patient, and take opportunities when I saw them, and we're able to do that and stay out of trouble. That's always the key, starting in the back, staying out of trouble. And unfortunately we were able to do that and come home with a second place run here tonight.
Obviously, Blake, I saw you working it kind of where you had to, but were you surprised that the bottom didn't work maybe as well as we've seen it work in the past? I mean, you mentioned guys fighting for that high side. I can't remember the last time somebody's really said that in a 305. Did it catch you by surprise?
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, not really. Looking at the track, there really wasn't much at all trying to get into one. So you had to slow the car down so much getting into one, and there was still a lot of grip with a slider line or running the top in turn one. So that was definitely the preferred line in one and two was getting up top and letting her eat, and realized that early on. So fortunately we weren't wasting our time down low trying to make something work, and it was there in three and four a little bit if you drove it right. It wasn't anything special though. So yeah, we just had to move around a little bit tonight, which always makes things a little more interesting.
Man, well, you did just that. We saw you going from passing guys to the bottom to cutting that thing up high and going three wide, man. You look good cutting through the field. Good run, up 9 spots. Congratulations. Who you want to thank, kid?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me every week. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, and I got to thank Andy at AJ Custom Creations for sponsoring this division. I got to thank Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. Of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They have some very delicious popcorn. You can head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART, that's CART, at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. And I got to thank everyone involved for putting this league on, and I got to thank you for broadcasting, Shaggy.
Have we had any communications with Steve? Because that was a wild ride down the front stretch, man. I know you were probably in front of it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make any golf clubs this week here, Blake.
I think he'll be fine. He was talking to us a little bit in the Discord. He was out of the car. He was doing fine, but he said he was a little sore. But I think he's ready for the 360s.
All right, well, we'll be rooting him on. Good run there, Blake. Congratulations, man. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks, Shaggy.
And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour here. Started up front and finished there, Patrick. Man, it wasn't so easy there for a little bit. It seemed like that first caution maybe came at the perfect time. Randy had just eked around you, but you had it at the start finish line. I mean, what's going through your head? Did you know you had that spot when the caution flag came out?
No, until it said get behind the pace car. I was like, oh man, I got the lead, and I looked at his .003. But yeah, I got lucky because I think he was making it work. I couldn't quite arc the car as much as I wanted to hit the bottom, so it was tough to pull ahead of him. But then a couple of those times, I almost smoked the inside wall. So a little bit of luck tonight, but yeah. After that last restart, got a big lead, so I was just kind of coasting while all those guys were sliding each other back there.
Yeah, I mean, you were one of those guys, well, especially once Randy made the move. I know, you're out here for fun, testing, seeing how fast you can go, just trying to push the limits. And were you shocked there? Because you were like Blake in the beginning. You're both trying to work that inside, but man, it just didn't cooperate like I thought it was gonna tonight. You really needed to be up towards the outside. Did that catch you by surprise?
A little bit. I think at the beginning, I think if I could like arc the car more into the turn and hit the bottoms better, I might have a shot at beating Randy there. But yeah, I was trying to get up top because Randy was getting the momentum built up there. But I think you'll see a big change this week in the 360s here because they messed with the gearing. So I think there's a 486 gear for the feature sub. So I don't know if the bottom's going to be there.
Okay, now Patrick, I'm dead serious. I'm an idiot. I load setups that you or VRS give me and I race them. Does that mean we're not going to be turning up a lot of RPMs tonight, that you're going to need to go up to the top and keep it wound up?
Yeah, that's like the tallest gear you can put in. It's like what the 410s run. So I think I only
Ooh.
use 46 at like Knoxville and maybe Eldora when it's super slick USA. So here it'd probably be like a 30 or 40, somewhere 530, 540. So I know qualifying it has like a 578, and then we drop to a 46. So you're dropping almost a full gear. So I think it's gonna be up top the whole time.
Well, the high side banger, man. That should fit the nickname here. Let's see what you got when we roll out again. But Patrick, congratulations on the 305 win, man. You got anybody you want to thank before we kick you out of here?
Yeah, just you for the awesome broadcast each week. Barker and Jack for running the league. Trainwheels Racing. Uh, Dan Uncle back home watching. And yeah, hopefully talk to you again soon.
Yeah, side note, Patrick, I need to put it in the broadcasters chat. I noticed, I don't know if YouTube changed this, but tried to go live tonight. You know, it took me forever like it always does. YouTube got rid of the backslash on their website code at the end. It just ends with the number 2 now. So we need to let all the
Oh,
other
weird.
broadcasters know that. That's why it wasn't working.
All right.
But hey, congratulations on the win, man. Hopefully we talk to you again here after the 360s.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, man.
Patrick Spangler bringing home the checkered flag, making it look easy after that early caution hit. It looked like Randy Shreves was going to make him work for it there in the beginning, but as the track kind of aged, Randy lost the grip on the tires, and Patrick was able to drive off into the moonlight here in New York and bring home the first checkered flag of the evening. We're going to step away here for a couple minutes, and we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 sprint cars. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get right when we were talking about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Zach Chapman here with ShaggyTV, and we're ready to bring you part 2 of 3 here. Excuse me, this went full screen on me, and I can't have that be full screen if I want to see the overlay that you guys get to see. So there we go. All is right and all is ready here. Is right on the dot. Quarter up. We're back, ready to roll. Wasting no time. We're going to go play in the clay here. At the Weedsport Speedway, 11 drivers set to take part in qualifying. Let's see who the first driver is out on the racetrack here this evening. Looking like it's going to be the 7 of Bob DeGood as Bob comes across the stripe here. This isn't lap number 1 for anyone who doesn't know. Weedsport's one of those tracks, Lernerville as well, where they let you come out of the pits here, get a full lap to get up to steam, and now this one's going to count here for the 7 of Bob DeGood. So let's see what Bob can do here. As he rolls the middle here through 3 and 4, what's the lap time going to look like for the 7 of Bob DeGood? As we see the time come in at 12:09.3. And now the high side banger. He was at the top, and now it's Randy Shreves, the man who dueled it out with him in the 305s earlier. As Randy Shreves stays. No, he doesn't. Patrick Spengler. Now Rick Mayne up to P2. Good qualifying effort there for the 187 of Rick Mayne. Blake Chapman going to come out here. Purple sector 1, green sector 2. This may be good. And it's great for the salesman, Blake Chapman. Quick time, and he is not even going to grid up here for the heat. Spoiler alert, I wouldn't think. So we're not going to have anybody starting on the outside of, we will. I mean, we'll play fill in the gaps here, but outside of row number 2 here for heat 1. It's going to be a no-call, no-show for the salesman, Blake Chapman, who comes out here and goes quick time. He's ready. And, Blake, I know, you want to stay true here. You want to start from the back, but Mom, Dad, if we're listening, maybe tell them, hey, when the high side banger shows up and doesn't do it, maybe we stay out front and, try to battle this guy. Don't make it so easy on him. But let's take a look. Starting lineup, heat race number 1. Row 3 to the outside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds to the inside, the 814 of Brad Wade. Row 2 to the outside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman to the inside, the 187 of Rick Mayne. Row 1 for heat race number 1, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. To the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landison. Starting on the pole, the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Bixler knows, man, pressure on here. You got to take advantage of starting on the pole, I mean, anytime you can, really. And you got a guy like Rick Mayne to the outside. Oh, and actually, Rick Mayne's starting on the pole. Did I? Okay, maybe Rick Mayne. No. Oh, so Steve Bixler took an EOL. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, so Bixler didn't want to start on the pole, so never mind. He didn't know he had to take advantage of that. He's going to drop back to the back here for safekeeping. I was wondering how Rick Mayne got to the front. It had me shocked. But it's the green flag high. It's ready to fly. Winner of heat race number 1 will start on the pole for tonight's 25-lap features. The green flag waves are underway. Good jump for the 187 of Rick Mayne, who sees the battle going on in the mirror. Brad Wade trying to take a big shot here, trying to move on up in front of the Desert Demon with the Inferno Motorsports 814, struggling to find grip, and now Dino searching on that outside, trying to get the motor full of steam here. Here comes Dino. He's singing a song on the outside. He's got a lot of grip. And Dino, maybe before too long, going to be making a move here as I give him the commentator's curse, slips up, coming out of 2, and watches Terry kind of extend that gap a little bit as Rick Mayne able to hone in out front, just hit qualifying lap after qualifying lap, putting down a phenomenal pace here, and we've got 2 laps to go. A Weedsport battle on for 3rd as Brad Wade taking a peek here on the bottom. A little bit of a hiccup, though, has to fall in line. And with the white flag waving for the 187, you got to think this may be where how we're running is how we may finish here. Not going to be able to make any big moves here in the final half a lap as the checkered flag waves. Rick Mayne brings it home, followed by Terry Landis, Dean Reynolds, Steve Bixler, Brad Wade, and the salesman with the no-call, no-show. As we get ready here, let's take a look at the starting grid. Heat race number 2 to the inside of row 3, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 2 to the outside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler, and the 39 to the inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr., and starting on the pole, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Let's take a look here. Oh, I don't have anybody selected. That's why we're staying still. Oh, man. Just got to catch the end of Spangler's wheelie there. Sorry, boys. On me. I had the camera selected, just no driver. Didn't know who to follow. It was scared out there. Well, we've got 6 laps to set the outside rows for tonight's feature here in your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 sprint cars. This is going to be a good one. I mean, arguably any one of these drivers out on the track could win the feature tonight. So this is One, keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be battles all over the racetrack here throughout heat race number 2. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Heat race number 2 is underway. Jeff Barker holding on at the moment as we go trackside. Whoa, Patrick Spangler getting up close to that camera there in the 39. Really ripping it on the outside. See here, what's he do this time by? We go to the inside. Patrick Spangler trying to work it here. He's trying to get to the left of the Brewerton Beast. Jeff Barker goes upstairs. He gives Patrick room side by side. Give it to the Brewerton Beast, but how long can he hold off the high side banger Patrick Spangler? That 39 looking good. He thought maybe the gear wouldn't work on the bottom. Well, he's got her hooking up right now, side by side. Give it to the Beast at the line, but the high side banger doing his damage down low. Welcome to the lead through 3 and 4. White flag waves, 1 lap to go. Randy Shrees trying to go to work on Brian Moore Sr. here for that 3rd spot, but we're coming into 3 and 4 for the final time, and drivers see that checkered flag, and Patrick Spangler brings it home, followed by Barker, Moore, Shreves, and a good. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your 25-lap 360 sprint car feature right after this. Okay, video's cut short. We got to watch this. I feel like this is really important, and I don't think they'd be mad at me for cutting them short. Patrick mentioned that gear. Look at how high these guys are rolling through 3 and 4. They are trying to absolutely move that cushion up to the wall. And, you know, since I was sitting here, you can watch. I mean, obviously, you see them fade away. But when it does fade away, you can watch it rebuild a little different. Just take snapshots with your eyes, and you can see there, like when that faded away, we have a new light brown patch up top where, you know, we kind of have a little bit of a gap. And as guys keep stepping up there and keep pushing the cushion up further, that'll widen up this racetrack. And there you see Blake taking it to the extreme. Bixler really getting up there, man. And you can just see it's just slowly changing here, and that is what these guys need with the gearing they have. We're going to need the track to develop a little differently than we normally like to. Not going to get to see some of the guys who like the bottom feed shop down there. You're going to have to do it a little differently here, but shouldn't be a problem. For the talent that we have here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. And right now, I got about 30 seconds left of warm-ups until we're ready to go. Sorry, I saw something going on in the broadcasters chat. Yeah, iRacing, I know you're not listening because who am I? But why did you take away spectate from us through league sessions? Now we have to actually search with the spectate button. It was so much easier before. And, well, it forced me to register for some races. in other leagues, and I had to have him DQ me because I was so used to doing it the original way, and, well, you can't do it that way anymore. But out with the old and in with the new. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Cars. Rounding out the field, starting P11 in the 20, that's the salesman Blake Chapman. Row 5 to the outside, the 7 of Bob to Good. To the inside, the 814 of Brad Wade. Row 4 to the top shelf, the 56 of Randy Shreves. To the inside, the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler. Row 3 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. To the inside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row 2 to the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. To the inside, the Desert Demon in the 161, Terry Landis. Row 1 for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Car feature. To the outside, the 39 of the High Side Banger, Patrick Spangler. And starting on the pole, the 187 of Rick Main. You get a good view of Terry Landis there. Well, Rick Main maybe having a little bit of connection issues here in the early going. You see him disappearing a little bit. Hopefully we get that all worked out here as we're about to go play 25 laps at the Weedsport Speedway. The Steve King Foundation pace car pulls off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps is underway. Good jump there for Rick Main, able to take advantage of that P1 starting spot. And Patrick Spangler, got to go hunting on that top shelf. Got to get the 39 brew in here. Got to build up some speed. But man, we're battling here in the back. Mr. Wednesday Night on the outside. He's got too wide in front of him. The Mayor. Now Blake Chapman works by both of them there through 1 and 2. Good speed going down the backstretch. Move Blake Chapman up to P7 here. Started 11th, already up 4 spots, and another man on the move. Started 5th, up to 3rd, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. He needs these two up front to start waging a war, and that may happen as the High Side Banger pulls to the inside, battle for the lead into 3. Slide job, Rick Main tries to cut underneath. Give it to the Banger, the High Side man at the line. Rick Main runs the same line back on Patrick, and he takes P1 back over as the High Side Banger tries to cut underneath. The Main out front in the 187 with 20 to go. Blake Chapman working under Dino. Here's the salesman. No time at all. 5 laps to go up 8 spots. The kid is on the move here. He's trying to prove his point here at Weedsport. But a big gap to these two out front who are running side by side for the lead through 3 and 4. You see Rick, though, with more speed. Carried in, but just missed it a little bit. Missed his marks, and now Patrick right back to the inside. He hits it, and we got a new leader at the line. Give it to the 39. Doing his thing down there in the basement here at Weedsport. Getting it to hook up. Patrick maybe threw out some false information. Said, guys, with this gear, there's no way. We're not going to work. Hey, you got to stay away from the bottom. You got to get up top. It ain't going to work. Well, Patrick, you lied to us. You're ripping the inside. You're up front, 15 to go. And you're looking good as he almost clips that inside wall. Patrick Spangler. Boy, oh boy, hands full in this 39. As, man, you can see as we ride on board here right side how close it looks like he's getting to hitting that inside wall. Now Rick Main here, you can see just not willing to do it. Gonna go in and flirt with that top shelf here. 2 different lines, but maybe the payoff line there through 3 and 4, because now he carries in all that momentum, able to hook up there on the bottom. And we're going to have a 3-car battle for the lead here. What a treat at Weedsport. We're over halfway, 12 to go, all green flag here in New York. Blake Chapman to the inside, battle on for second. Can the salesman get it to hook up? The answer is no. Rick Main stops on that loud pedal, trying to carry himself back around, but Blake Chapman hooks up on the bottom. The long-lost cousin up to P2 as he shuts the door on Rick Main. Blake trying to drive underneath that 39 here. What can he do side by side through 3 as they enter 4? Oh, give it to the 39 at the line, but Blake Chapman making his money down there through 1 and 2. Welcome to the lead with 9 laps to go. 8 to go at the line, and Blake Chapman does have the lead here as we go take a look here. The rest of the field, Dino kind of substantially in 4th, but battle back on. Go back to the inside. We cannot duck away from this. And then go back. I jinx Patrick. He has a little bit of a hiccup there in 3 and 4, and Blake Chapman, man, he is off to the races, running that combo here. High side 3 and 4, bottom 1, 2. And I don't think there's anything that 39 can do here as he tries for 3 and 4. But we've only got 5 laps to go. Let's see here. Let's go up to the mayor, Steve Bixler. Maybe got a good idea or a terrible idea. Whoa! Whoa, Patrick, able to gather it back up. We got to go back up here. We saw Patrick get sideways off the rear end there of the 75. He loses a spot to Rick Main. Not too sure what happened there to the 39, but it's going to forfeit P2. And with 3 laps to go, we're going to go sit at the starter stand, look for these 2 fingers, 2 to go. We are strung out here at Weedsport, barring a miracle caution. You got to think Blake Chapman, the man with the plan here tonight, started dead last, worked his way up to the front as he takes the white flag, and did it all under green flag conditions. No helps, no wrecks, no accidents. The kid doesn't need it, he needs wins, and he gets another one. Here in the Flatline Racing Bodies 360 sprint cars, followed by Rick Main and Patrick Spangler rounding out the podium. Dino P4 and Terry Landis rounds out the top 5. We had 3 flags displayed this race, ladies and gentlemen. A green flag, a white flag, and a checkered flag. We never saw that yellow. That was a hell of a run by these boys. Congratulations on the show they just put on. Man, get a drink of water, pat yourself on the back, because that was absolutely phenomenal. As we're going to bring up the driver here who finished P3. Patrick, man, I couldn't tell exactly what happened. We were kind of running off the back of the 75. I saw you get extremely loose off of turn 4. Did we tap that wall a little bit? Is that what gave up that spot?
Blake was coming, and I was just overdriving the car, and I couldn't get comfortable. Every time I hit the brakes, like, I just want to turn left. So, and then Blake got around me, so I tried keeping up with him on the bottom and just monster trucked the turn 4 wall. So, happy to keep it in one piece after how hard I hit that wall. Kept on all 4s, but yeah, Blake's the best when it comes to these racing things and being smooth.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I could even tell from some of the camera angles here. I had to crank up some of that stuff. I mean, not a lot of RPMs out there. Motors weren't screaming tonight, as you had mentioned with that gear. Were you surprised that the bottom did work, though? Because it seemed like, you know, well, once you got behind Blake, you got to see for yourself. But I think the Dreamline, top 3 and 4, bottom 1 and 2, if you could hit it right. Did it catch you by surprise?
Yeah, middle of the race, I was like, man, every word I said in that interview, the last race, is false because I was hitting the bottom real good, and then even though we were turning a lot of RPMs, if you got in the slick, the back end was sliding out, so definitely caught me by surprise. But yeah, that was a fun race. No
Yeah,
caution.
man. A lot of fun to watch. That's what I was going to say. Only 3 flags, dude. Green, a white, and a checkered. I know. I mean, battling with those two up front, clipping the walls like we were. I mean, you can lie to me if you want, but we tired after that thing?
A little bit because you can't miss on that track. If you miss overdrive the turn, you're sliding up into the slick and you're stuck in no man's land. And if you got the corner too short, you're monster trucking the wall like I did. So yeah, pay attention each lap, and you're on a razor thin margin there.
Well, any plans in the near future to go out there and play in Sarver, PA again, Patrick? It looked like you had some fun up there in Lernerville.
Yeah, probably not. That was real fun though. Like thank Bill Kiley and Kip for letting me drive there. Yeah, that was a blast. Definitely felt like I was going a lot faster than what the putt video looked like. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, man, I bet it was. I was saying, I mentioned that earlier. I'd love to do that, but man, Patrick, when you're 280 pounds, you don't exactly agree with sprint car seats. So I don't think I get in one of those anymore. But man, Patrick, definitely jealous of that. Looked like you had fun out there. But congratulations on another podium here, man. You got anybody you want to thank before you get out of here?
Yeah, just you for the awesome broadcast each week again, and Jeff and Jack for running the league. I think Finish Line Race Designs, I believe, is the wrap for this one. Dan Uncle back home watching, and Triangles Racing.
Hey, hell of a run, Patrick. Congratulations on a good night here, man. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks.
Patrick Spangler bringing home P3. Now we're going to talk to the man who brought home P2. And, well, Rick, it just seemed like by the time you kind of figured out that top 3 and 4, bottom 1 and 2, Blake was already close enough to kind of pounce. Once you got behind him there, though, man, you were definitely in his league. It's just tough to pass on this racetrack. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking to him about it. I found something there. I was running faster laps, probably the last, I don't know, 5 or 6, but it was he had already put too big of a gap because the bottom was still so dominant. But as it started to go away, I found I mean, I was like wide open in 3 and 4, just praying to not hit the fence coming out of 4. And I was reeling him in, but it was too little, too late.
Yeah, man, that's it's just funny you say that. It may have even been you who made that exact comment to me a couple weeks ago. I can't remember, but I've heard the flat out thing a couple times now since this update. And do you think maybe with the gearing that we're getting, that's going to be something that guys, if you're willing to throw them out the window, man, and let them hang, you can hammer down, but it's going to be risky up top.
Yeah, I don't run a ton of fixed stuff. Normally, just this league and a couple other leagues that I'm in through the week. So I don't know for sure with some of that gearing, but that was the only way I was able to keep any RPM in it at all, was just wide open on the top of 3 and 4, and there was just enough grip up there. It would grip up and launch me down the front stretch.
Well, hey, Rick, I mean, I saw what you saw. You were definitely reeling them in there at the end, but we didn't. Well, I should say maybe we didn't get lucky, but did we even want a caution tonight? I mean, 25 laps green flag, man. That's impressive at Weedsport. How do we feel about that? Did we want maybe one caution to break it up, give us a little break, or did we like hammering the thing out like we did?
Nah, I liked it. We gave Blake too much free reign on the bottom. When there's a bunch of grip and he can hit it. That's what I think. He was up to third in, I don't know, 7 or so laps. I saw him in my rear view already. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, way too fast. They made it way too easy on him back there. That's
Yeah.
that's what I said.
So maybe a little heavier lap traffic at the end would have been the only way I might have had a chance there with maybe 2 to go.
Well, Rick, sometimes that's the name of the game, and man, it stinks that you lost it the way you did. But man, whenever you realized how quick that bottom was in 1 and 2 when Blake snuck by, you showed you had the speed too. Just maybe found it a little later, but hell of a run, man. P2 for the 187. Gotta feel good finishing in between the 20 and the 39. 2 damn good drivers. So congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, just all the guys there at Inferno. The guys at Hinkle Homes, DNT Designs, Highline Cinematography, and I just want to congratulate Blake on the win and thank all you guys for putting the league on and the broadcast, Shaggy.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Rick. Love having you, man. You always add to this thing. I know you don't like them that much, but go out there, kick their butts in the 305s a little next week for me, all right?
I'll try.
All right, good run, Rick. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
Rick Main bringing home P2. Couldn't get to this guy because Blake figured something out down there on the bottom, man. Well, really a combo line. You were making the money, dude. You were getting a huge run off of 4 and absolutely sailing that thing into 1, but somehow keeping it down there in the tack, man. What were we doing? Because you were in your own league tonight. I mean, up to 3rd place in, I think, 7 laps. Get the heck out of here with that, kid.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I could tell at the end of the warm up that the bottom was going to be fast really early. And unlike the 305s, because the 305s trying to run that bottom, you had to slow the car down too much. And there was enough grip up top where the top was just going to be faster. But here in the 360s, that top was slicked off and you still had to slow the car down getting into 1. But as soon as I got it into the corner, I could just pedal to the metal and get going on it, which really helped me and helped me get it up to 3rd really, really quickly. And I knew I could catch those front 2 guys as long as, the bottom stayed good. And it did for long enough. It went away there right at the end. I'm glad this race wasn't 30 or 35 laps, but, really didn't think I'd be able to get up to them without a caution for sure. But, the bottom was quick early and no one else is really down there. So we were able to rip it really, really good tonight.
No, I would have lost a lot of money tonight and maybe my life if someone offered that as the bet too, picking you to come from 11th to 1st with no cautions and Patrick Spengler starting on the front row with Rick Main. I mean, dude, what you just did, oh my gosh, it can't be stated. This is the best one you've ever done, hands down. I know we didn't have a lot of cars here, man, but dude, Weedsport's tricky. I mean, you can want to go, you can know that bottom's going to work, but man, what's your mindset like when you got a bunch of cars in front of you that necessarily don't have the speed that you have, but you've got to work around them because, I mean, dude, you did it so fast, but you always do it and you get through it clean. How do you do it?
Yeah, it's just really about picking your spots and being patient. I knew the first lap or 2, I'd had to be really, really patient. There was cars in front of me, blocking that bottom, and then I knew I could make my money. Turn 1, a lot of guys don't slow the car down enough to hit the bottom really well. And I know I was able to get a couple of guys just by slowing the car down more and getting more grip off of that bottom and going and getting underneath of them. So that's where I really made my money here tonight. And just coming into 3, you don't have to slow it down that much. You can be a little tricky coming out of 4 for sure. You got to be patient, and you just gotta be consistent hitting the line. You can't make too many mistakes with a crowd around you, and fortunately we were able to keep it smooth and consistent tonight.
Well, hey, man, once again, dude, can't be understated. This is the best drive I've ever seen you pull off. Caution-free, 25 laps, worst the first with I mean, you've beaten them before, but dude, Rick Main and Patrick starting on the front row, being able to walk away from the field like they did, kind of do their own thing, and you still reel them in, man. That is a hell of a drive. Congratulations, kid. You earned this one. Who you want to thank, man?
Yeah, first I got to thank the parents for watching. I got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me every week. Hopefully he takes it easy on me here in this midget race.
Oh man, hopefully you take it easy on them with all the. That's what I was gonna say. The momentum you have, don't even talk that. Oh my gosh, they could start you a lap down in this next one. I think that might be
I don't know
what
about
they have
that.
to do.
The midgets are a little different than these sprint cars for sure, but yeah, hopefully Terry takes it easy on me. I got to thank. Let's see here. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Got to thank Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this division. Got to thank Dean for adminning these races tonight. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You really got some of the best stuff out there. You can check them out. Head over to their website. Don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. I got to thank Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. Got to thank everybody involved with putting this league on. Of course, I got to thank you, Shaggy, Mr. Consistent, every week. You're making this broadcast available for us. Really appreciate that.
Well, it makes my job easy when I watch somebody go from worst to first here in 11 laps. Congratulations, Blake. Best run I've ever seen here on the sprint cars, man. You were in this. Hopefully, I'm talking to you again here after the midgets. Good luck, man.
Hope so. Thanks, Shaggy.
Man, I hate so much, and he knows it too. Now he's out of here. I kicked him out. I can be honest. Man, to watch a guy with my last name go out here and absolutely torch, man, and put on that kind of performance. Oh, I'm so jealous of the kid. That unbelievable run for Blake. Can't stress how good that was. Those two guys starting on the front row, going out there and hunting them down and doing it all under green. Hell of a run for that 20 machine. Congratulations to Blake Chapman. And we're going to step away here for a couple minutes, and we're going to be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies midget sprint cars. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a
Bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and well, the midgets here, they're going to be a little quiet. So I've had to play around with this a lot tonight. Didn't want to bring it up there under the videos. I'm going to have to crank these things up a little bit. Let's see what it looks like this time as they roll by. There we go. A little better. Little better. Complain to me in that chat box if these things don't sound that well. But I think it's looking okay here on the meter. Oh, it's Terry Landis. Tightens up there coming off of 4. He goes for a little flip, and he just wanted to show us what the bottom of a midget sprint car looks like, and I appreciate that, Terry. Thank you for the informational picture there. Very selfless. You know, I mean, he's going to have to pull out the backup car now, but selfless move there by Terry. And, man, we respect the hell out of you for it. Let's see who pulls out on the racetrack first. Do we really need to see? We know who it is. It's Brandon Templeton. B-Temp's in the room. The driver of the 31, always out there. With, you know, I mean, he's got an internet connection that would put NASA or SpaceX here to shame. I mean, that guy first out there on the racetrack every time. 31, purple here. Lap not going to count, though. As I explained, that opener, just the warm-up lap. Let's see what he does this time. He's saving the best here this time. Purple sector 1. What does it look like? Well, another purple, so it's, I think we're going to see that 31 at the top of the charts, and we do. 14:31 for Brandon Templeton. Good lap here as Terry Landis parks at P2. He was purple sector 2. If he can improve sector 1, the Desert Demon might have some speed, but you can see it there. Slower sector 1, slower sector 2, and Terry Landis, nothing he can do. Gonna stay P2. Blake Chapman coming around here. What's his lap number 1 look like? He's gonna park it P5 behind the Brewerton Beast Jeff Barker, who just put it P4. Barker coming around here this time. Let's see what he does. Not going to improve. He's going to stay P4. Blake Chapman improves through sector 2. Does it help the lap time? It does not. Going to stay P5. Blake Chapman going to have to find a way here to maybe find some speed out there if he wants to continue that impressive winning streak. Well, I guess he didn't win in the 305s, but drove up to second. And then the last race started 11th, drove up to first there. There's 8 cars qualify, 8 cars listed. Templeton, Landis, Hit, Barker. Well, you know, I don't want to spoil it because that's going to be the starting grid for your one and only heat race for your Flatline Racing Bodies midget sprint cars. Let's take a look. Row 4 to the outside in the 75, the Mayor, Steve Bixler, to the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 3 to the top shelf, the 56 of Randy Shreves. To the inside, the Salesman in the 20, Blake Chapman. Row 2 to the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. To the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row 1 for your only heat race here this evening. How he finishes, how we'll start for the 25-lap feature. To the outside, the 217 of the gentleman, Jack Hidden. Starting on the pole, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Let's see here. The Brewerton Beast out front. Going to be tough to knock him off of there if he can get a good 1 and 2, get up in front of Jack Hidd. You know, not that they shouldn't. But Jeff, man, he's one of those guys. He's probably the most respected guy out here in this field. This is no shot at anyone else, but he's the one with the smallest target on his back, if that makes sense. There's no way anybody's gunning for that 513. If you get into that guy, the first thing you do is pipe up and apologize. So makes it a little easier to pass or harder to pass those nice guys. As the green flag's high, it's ready to fly. 6 laps to play. Your one and only heat race is underway. Terry Landis taking advantage of that inside starting spot. He moves on up from 3rd to 2nd. As the war rages on behind, Brandon Templeton floats up. Look at that side-by-side between him and the gentleman, Jack Hitt. Boy, oh boy. These guys know that the war may be between them. So you've got to find a way to beat that other guy. As B-Temp getting a little slide. Almost gets into the 161. He's able to find some grip, though. Come back at him. Almost hits the inside wall. We are 3 wide. The gentleman doing the gentlemanly thing there, getting out of the throttle, falling out, didn't want to be stuck in the middle. That could have been trouble for the gentleman Jack Hidd. Is Terry Landis falling all the way back to 4th. Is Jeff Barker wishing he'd see the white flag this time, but we've got 2 to go. Can he hold off that 31 of Brandon Templeton? Brandon trying to do some shopping downstairs through 3 and 4. He's got a lot of moisture. He's got the spot, and he sees the white flag. 1 lap to play. Can Barker swing back with a right hook here? Come back underneath. Does he burn down the top shelf? Final time through 3 and 4. B-Temp slides up, shuts the door. Checkered flag waves. Brandon Templeton gonna start on the pole for tonight's feature. Barker, Hitt, Landis, Shreves, Chapman, DeGood, and Bixler. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your 25-lap feature here at the Weedsport Speedway, presented to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Stick around. Back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's a little under 15 seconds now until we take a look at our starting lineup. Should be a good one here. You see, time's pretty even. Top four within a tenth of a second. So expect a good racy track here tonight at Weedsport. Let's see what we have. I promised you a racy track in the 360s, and we went flag to flag. Watching Blake Chapman charge up through the field. Let's see what we have in store for us. Here is 8 cars set to do 25 laps here at Weedsport. Row 4 to the outside, the 75 of the Mayor, Steve Bixler, to the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 3 to the high side, the 20 of the Salesman, Blake Chapman, to the inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row 2 to the top shelf, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, to the inside, the 217 of the Gentleman, Jack Hitt. Row 1 for your Flatline Racing Bodies Midget Sprint Car feature. To the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. And starting on the pole, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Is everybody, here we go. I was going to say, we should be getting ready to roll here. Everybody is on the grid. Everybody made the call here. See a couple guys, though, sitting there back there hanging out. Brandon Templeton. Now, is he... I did not see the penalty report, but there is no way Brandon Templeton is on that freaking penalty report. So he might be doing this to maybe just challenge himself here tonight. I'm not too sure what the deal is there with the 31 of Brandon Templeton, but definitely going to have to work here, and now that puts the Gentleman P1. You know, I mean, maybe Brandon wants to make it harder on himself, but Jack Hitt starting out front is, that's hard enough on you, even if you're starting second. So, man, putting yourself in the back, putting the Gentleman up P1, that's going to be interesting here. As the pace truck pulls off, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We've got 25 laps to play in the clay at Weedsport Speedway. The Gentleman hooks up, go through one. Barker thinking about trying to cut underneath, but no room. Got to fall in line. Here's the War Rages on behind. The Desert Demon pushed up to the top shelf. He may lose the spot here to the 56 of Randy Shreves, and possibly his teammate is Blake Chapman working the bottom. Blake now to the inside of the 56 of Randy Shreves. Podium hunting here early. And we're only on lap number 2. But Blake Chapman moving and grooving here. As you see, B-Temp, he started in the back. He's already up to 5th. Brandon Templeton on the move here in the 31. Oh, gets a little shot there from Terry Landis, and no harm to the car. But we are going to get a caution flag. Saw it happen live. So let's just go back. We'll stay right here. We'll watch it. You can see he just slides up in front. Terry hooks it up a little straighter and just didn't back out of the throttle enough. Gives the 31 a little bit of a shot. B-Temp fall into the back one more time. And once again, we'll have to try to climb that mountain. If he wants to win this thing, not going to be easy. 4 less laps now. When we do take the green flag, we'll be on lap where we'll have 21 to go. Lights are still on the pace truck. I just realized too, that's a pretty good hint. The lights are on the ambulance. I've never noticed that. Well, I mean, I did notice it earlier in the race, but for the whole caution flag, I never really thought to cheat and stare at the ambulance. May need to now make it an ambulance camera. Here are tracks that I go to in the future. As the lights do go off this time. We'll see right there. Lights are off on the ambulance. So even the ambulance, you know, they're working here. They're always working. They're saving guys like Steve Bixler after they go for wild rides on the front stretch. And they're working the caution lights under caution. Impressive. As we see the Steve King Foundation pace truck dive off, the green flag's high, it's ready to fly. Jackie drops the hammer, we're back underway. Randy Shreves looking for P2 as the mare gets pushed backwards there. Got sucked up and swallowed, spit out in the back. Oh, 3, almost 4 wide. Brandon Templeton almost got in the mix. There's Blake Chapman. Probably has the best view in the house of a side-by-side between Jeff Barker and Randy Shreves. Randy tried to work that outside at 56. Oh, Brandon Templeton thinking about making it a 3-car battle. Let's go up top. Oh, Randy Shreves carries the momentum and gets the spot here. Blake Chapman trying to hook on, follow on by. Brandon Templeton trying to make the bottom work, but he just watched Blake Chapman drive by on the high side, and now he's got Terry Landis driving in here, trying to get back to that outside. So Brandon Templeton, he's got to get upstairs here. He's stuck on the bottom, and once again, you got to think, man, oh man, if he could only start it up front, we might be watching him play tag here with lappers, but instead he's trying to work his way through the field. Terry Landis has a hiccup on the high side. Jeff Barker now, he sees the 31 down there. Gonna give him a little extra room. Brandon Templeton finally gets it done. But is the damage done? Because the gentleman, as we park it in turn 4, he's got almost the 1 1/4 second lead. Randy Shreves has had time to go. Oh, a little contact there. Jeff Barker. He goes around after getting into the Desert Demon caution. Flag waves. For the second time here, Terry Landis ends up going around too. Let's see if we can maybe find out what happened here as we go in the aerial. So you can already see Jeff's going to clip that wall. He does. It pushes him up the racetrack. And now there was some netcode there, but yes, he was going to hit him regardless. And Terry, you can see he goes for a wild ride as well in that 161 machine. Able to keep it on all 4, though. That's what's important. And you can go and get that quick repair, get back out there. Definitely don't want to have to, work your way from the back, but at least you still get a chance to dance here at Weedsport. His lights are still on in the Steve King Foundation pace truck. His jack hit. Paces the field. Going to have 13 laps to go. When we do go back racing, this 2 cautions was the most we've had in any race all night. These guys have put on a show here at Weedsport. A difficult racetrack that has proved to be, well, fairly tamed by these guys. Impressive night all in all. But we still got 13 laps to go. So they still have time to fudge that a little bit here. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. But I do see row number 2, Blake Chapman and Brandon Templeton. They got the chance here to sniff a little bit closer. That might be what they need as we roll through 3 and 4. Jack hit, drops the hammer. We're back underway. Blake Chapman with a good jump there on the bottom. Shreves trying to go to work here, slide up in front of B-Temp, but he can't. Brandon Templeton he jumps the cushion, gets in the outside wall. Now Blake has plenty of room. And Brandon Templeton got to put his head down here and pull the guys back in. Tug on that leash a little bit as Jack hit. Smooth out front. Randy Shreve quick through the center of 1 and 2. But just hits the slick on exit. Loses that rear end. And man, watches all the time gain disappear. You see, starting to single file out here a little bit at Weedsport. Closest battle right now is the Desert Demon trying to come at the 75 of Steve Bixler. Remember, Bixler was one of the guys who bad luck early. He had gotten sucked to the back after some contact and now finds himself in the top 5. So good run for Steve Bixler. There's Jack hit. Watches him click away. 9 laps to go. Battle for third. Heating up. Brandon Templeton, as close as he's been to Blake here since the restart. He's just trying to work that 31 underneath. He's got the room. Blake knows he's there. Not going to race him too hard. Says, Brandon, you got it. Go up there and get him. Maybe I can learn a thing or two. Going to give him the bottom. But he comes back with a big run off of 4. And Blake Chapman says, wait a minute. I might have found something up here. He has got some speed here. Got the top rolling as Terry Landis works around Steve Bixler. Brandon Templeton trying to slide out the no room. Had to back her down. And whoa, baby, we got a 3 wide Bruin here as B-Temp gets into the Randy Shreves, who possibly came down a little bit. But either way, 2 cars involved, and Blake Chapman survives the drive on through. Let's go ahead. Let's watch this in the aerial here. So B-Temp, I mean, he does come up a little bit, but you can see, I mean, Shreves, I thought I got the rewind there in time. He's kind of running that diamond line, maybe not knowing that Brandon's coming with the big run, because you can see, I mean, Randy at one point, it's not too bad. You know, both guys just kind of running their lines, and you can see Randy maybe a little more sideways than he'd like there, but he's trying to angle it back. You see him cranking the wheels right to straighten it up, and right as he does straighten it up, B-Temp's coming up a little bit, and it's just 2 guys fighting for the same area of the racetrack. You're going to have that. Tough break, though, for the 31 of Brandon Templeton, who now has to try to come from the back for the 3rd time. Here in that 31 machine, is you should see the lights go off on the pace truck this time by, and we'll get back ready to play here for a 5-lap shootout at the Weedsport Speedway. As the gentleman, he's got to throw the manners out the window here. Got to make that thing wide. Got to defend as the drops the hammer. The green flag waves. We've got 5 to play. Can Randy Shreves or Blake Chapman make Jack pay for the late caution, or will the gentleman be able to hold on? I can tell you the battle's on for 3rd. Terry Landis working his teammate on the bottom here. The Desert Demon can't get it done. Oh, and we got possibly a battle for the lead here. It looked close there going into 1. Randy Shreves beating down that outside through 3 and 4, trying to gather the horses up here. Gets into the back of the 217, jumps the right rear, going to lose 2 spots. Goes from 2nd to 4th. Look at the Krite Sim Racing, boys. Working it here up to 2nd and 3rd, and Jack hit. Just trying to hold on here. Gotta keep it smooth. Doesn't want to allow Blake the chance to come right back at him here. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Jack hit. He's been to victory lane so many times in these midgets, and I think we're gonna add another one. 4, checkered flag wave. And the gentleman gets it done at Weedsport. Blake Chapman, P2, and the Desert Demon bringing home P3. Good late race speed for Terry Landis. Randy Shreves coming home 4th. And Brandon Templeton rounds out the top 5. But another good race here at the Weedsport Speedway. Definitely impressed with what this track has put on here tonight. You know, definitely a more challenging racetrack, and the boys proved they can handle it here tonight. Hell of a run. We're going to wait here, see if we can't get a minute to talk with the driver of the Judy Special here, Terry Landis in the 161. Still waiting on drivers to get up to the waiting room, so I'm going to grab a drink here real quick before we do these interviews. Oh, look at that. Take a drink, and they're up here in the waiting room. So let's go ahead. Let's pull the driver up who finished P3. Terry in the 161, man. I'll tell you, I know, it maybe came at a mistake there by Randy Shreves, but that move you and Blake put on going into 1, man, how good did that feel? The KSR boys getting on the podium at the same time. That was a good one.
It's always fun racing with Blake, you know. I could have beat him tonight too, I'm sure of it, but my car was faster than him. But he ran great. We're always playing with each other like that.
Oh no, for sure. You got to take shots at him when you can, and it
Yeah.
seemed like there at the end, right when you got into 3rd, it seemed like maybe you were hooking up or trying to on the bottom of 3 and 4. But man, it just seemed like coming off. Man, it was tough to get that run, but you were quick there in the center middle.
Yeah, all night long the top was getting faster and faster, and I was up there running it in. Sometimes I was just running like flat out too. You know, it was getting that much of a great bite, but uh, Jeff fit me a little bit, and then had to go to the rear and come back up through the field. No worries, Jeff. It's all fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game, especially a tricky turns 1 and 2 here at Weedsport. I mean, everybody kind of does their own thing. How long did it take you to kind of feel comfortable, running with guys behind you and in front of you? Because, man, this is one where some guys want to really back it down, like your Blake Chapmans, and some guys want to send it in there, kind of like Randy. So, I mean, we got kind of the exact opposite sides. I mean, how do you race it out there?
Well, first of all, you know who you're racing against, and you have pretty much confidence in them, them guys, and but yeah, you just keep the pedal to the metal and keep your eyes forward. That's all you can do.
Well, hey, Terry, man, you parked the Judy Special on the podium here tonight, and you look good doing it. Hell of a run coming home P3. Who you want to thank, man?
Well, you, cousin Shaggy, and ShaggyTV, and then I forget the guy's names. Custom Golf Clubs in Clarence.
Steve's Custom Golf Clubs.
That's the guy.
Yep, Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. I need to hit him up.
Yeah, they do it all. They wrap them and straighten them out because you might bend it a little bit. But then, yeah, Kreitz Old Track Parts and KSR boys. Blake is fun always. Jack, great run. And Galen's Homegrown Popcorn. Put cart in the checkout and get 50% off on your order. Jeters, because you got to smoke them after this kind of racing. And my wife, Judy.
Yeah, and smoke them before you buy the popcorn first, or you're going to regret it if you smoke and you didn't already buy the popcorn. But
That's the truth.
hey, congratulations on the good run, Terry. Oh wait, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
And Flatline Racing Bodies, because they make really good stuff.
Yeah, and because they pay for us to be able to do this, so it's a big shout out to Flatline Racing Bodies. But hey,
can't forget them guys.
Congratulations on the good run here, man. Can't wait to talk to you again. I love it. Good run tonight, man.
Thanks, Shaggy. Talk to you later.
Terry Landis bringing home P3, and now we're going to bring up the man who finished P2, Blake Chapman. Blake, it looked like you had pace here. You had a good car. Maybe nothing to do with Jack, but man, you were working on Randy for so long, and finally that mistake with a couple laps left. What's going through your head when you finally had the chance to pounce?
Yeah, I was getting really excited. I don't know what it is of these cars. I'm just not consistent enough with them. I can put together lap or two or even three at a time where it's like, wow, this feels really good, and I'm hitting it, I'm gaining on the guy in front of me. Then it's just, I don't know if I start over driving it or driving it differently at all. It just seems like I get stuck in the mud a little bit. So yeah, I saw when Randy and Jack got together a little bit, the eyes definitely got wide, and I was hoping I would be able to contend for the win there, and then it just, like I said, just kind of felt like I got stuck in the mud there, and Jack started to pull away a little bit, and I was worried about fending off Terry. I didn't want to let him get around me, but fortunately we were just quick enough to keep him behind us.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was wondering there because, I mean, obviously you don't want to flirt with it too much, especially if you don't go up there and do it too often. But you had to see that speed there a couple laps that the 56 was getting off the top of 3 and 4. Did we think about going up there and trying it at all to make a run on Jack? Because I think that may have been your only shot. It seemed like Jack and you may be playing it a little more conservative than Randy there through 3 and 4.
Yeah, I didn't want to go all the way up, especially in 3 and 4. I just felt like it was a little too far around the track. I tried it a couple times. I wanted to try to get up on the cushion, and it didn't really feel right to me. So I tried to run a lane off or 2 lanes off of that, and it seemed to work all right. It wasn't great, and I was trying the bottom there for a while during the race, and that didn't feel very good. So that middle to top was kind of where I was at pretty much the whole race. I know guys were making it work on the bottom, and obviously making it work in the middle and top too. So not a bad racetrack for us here tonight, and we were able to move around a little bit, and that's all you can ask for as a driver.
Yeah, man. And, I know the car wasn't the most comfortable tonight for you, but still up 4 spots, able to finish that middle spot of the podium again, man. Hell of a run for you and the teammate, both on the podium. So got to be happy about that. But congratulations, Blake. Let's go ahead and hear him, man.
Yeah, first I got to thank the parents for watching. I got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me tonight and taking it easy on me here, these midgets.
Yeah, he
I
said he
gotta
could
thank.
have beat you in his interview. He
That's
said
what he's saying. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think he's really correct on that. But you never know. You never know. Maybe he's taking it
sometimes
easy on
him
me.
and our hobbies, we share a similar hobby. That makes us delusional sometimes.
It does. You're right. You're right there, Shaggy. You're thinking right there. Yeah, for sure. But I also got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Got to thank Andy at Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this division. Got to thank Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. You reminded me he's got a Black Friday sale coming up, so stay tuned for that. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn, of course, best popcorn out there. You can head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART at checkout. That'll get you 15% off of your order. I got to thank everyone involved in putting this league on, and you for broadcasting it every week, Shaggy.
Well, hey, hell of a run, man. Congrats, triple podium night. Way to cap it off, man. Good run.
Thank you.
Blake Chapman bringing home P2. And now we're going to bring up the man of the hour, Jack Hitt. Jack, man, I'll tell you, exciting race in there. And, Randy's trying to make some room there on the high side. You're already up there, but what's going through your head there? You get a little contact going into 1 and 2, man. Did we know they were that close? Because, man, after that final restart, you were under the gun, dude.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was just out there minding my own business till I found out. Obviously, Randy was there. Nothing intentional. I don't know what it looked
No,
like,
you're
but
holding your line. That's nothing on you. That's just, Randy trying to make a move, not really there. That's just racing.
yeah, I had no idea he was up there. But after that, I spent the last 2 or however long laps it was, and man, it felt a lot better than the bottom did that last handful.
Yeah, were you kind of like a little caught off guard with it because we've seen the track change so much, man, throughout the night in the 305s, the 360s. Now we get, a bottom here in the midgets, but then that top, man, kind of coming out of nowhere. Did it surprise you, or did you know it was going to come?
You know, the way these cars, they just don't wear it in as fast, so I just thought I was good. Before that caution, I don't know what lead I had, but I felt like it was pretty
Oh,
good,
you
so
were
I
you were
thought I was
gone.
still in the right spot, you know. So yeah, I just had no idea it was coming in.
Yeah, I mean, man, sometimes that's the name of the game. I mean, we go from 25 laps green flag there to a couple cautions in this one, not too many, but man, a timely one that really made this thing exciting at the end. Made you work for it, Jack, but you look good doing it. Congratulations, man. Who you want to thank?
I got to thank Brandon for sending himself to the back of the race at the beginning.
Okay,
Everybody,
I figured that was on purpose because I was scrolling for the penalty report and he was not on there. I forgot to ask about that. Thank you for verifying that.
he might tell you that he asked for it, but let's be honest, I had the mouse on the EOL button before he even did that. Give myself the pull, of course. No, but yeah, I gotta thank everybody for coming out, and small car count, but we're getting some really good quality races here. Gotta thank everybody behind the scenes, the league making it go around. Shout out to you for putting on an awesome broadcast. My wife for giving me time to do this every week, and just gonna slip a little reminder in. We got that charity event coming up in a few weeks. Check Facebook or the website for more information.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's going to be a good show. Me and Marty are going to do that one. That'll be a good time. But congratulations on the big win here, Jack. Parking it on the hill here at Weedsport, man. Got to feel good. Congrats. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks, man.
The gentleman, as you see, parking it on the hill here, gets to enjoy some fireworks here at Weedsport. Congratulations to the driver of the 217, the gentleman, Jack Hitt, on winning your Flatline Racing Bodies Midget Sprint feature. And that's going to bring Hometown Heroes to a close here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So on behalf of everyone making it work behind the scenes, Jack Hitt, Jeff Barker, Patrick Spengler, and everyone else, we appreciate the hell out of you for keeping this thing going. And everyone out there watching, we appreciate the hell out of you too. Thanks for tuning in every week. We've got some more coming up tomorrow. We've got the small blocks and the big blocks. And then we got the ShaggyTV Pro Late Model. So you better be here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman saying, have a good night.